So, everyone, welcome back to episode two of Emotional Intelligence. And I wanted to chat about some of my experiences today. I saw this quote the other day and I don't remember it, so I'm going to read off my screen. But it's basically emotions can get in the way or can get you on the way. And that's by a lady called Mavis Mazura. Um, and the reason why I relate to this so much is because I've been the beneficiary of two sides of the coin. And I say that because growing up, I had a fiery temper. May not seem like that now, but I did. Whilst my older brother, so he's 2 years older than I am, he, on the other hand, was cool as a cucumber. Very diplomatic type of person. If you met him, you'll be able to see the difference. And it's often said that we are complete opposites in personality, in character, and our lenses are just colored very differently. Not a bad thing, just we're just very different people. Now, he was generally, like I said, the diplomatic one, the cheeky one, the instigator, right? He would poke and prod me, and I'm sure that you have people like that in your lives. They'll just, try and poke you with words and try and poke you with a stick. And that often just fueled my frequent outbursts as a child. I throw tantrums and flip tables and throw chairs. That was me as a kid. That was me as a child, and I never really recalled learning how to process my emotions. Full stop. And I guess that was part of kind of the reason for my violent outbursts. I did what I knew best. And I guess thankfully over time, I have managed to learn to control that side of me now. I mean, as every human, I still get angry, I still get emotional, and we all do from time to time. Things happen, things don't go our way, etc. But my explosions now, I mean, we all still explode. It's just how do we manifest that, right? And for me, I now kind of push it into a healthier outlet, right? A very healthy outlet, and that is the gym. I think that as we grow older, we don't necessarily change our behaviors. We generally modify our behaviors to align to, what we want to achieve in life. That's what I've come to realize. And, truth be told, no matter how much personal development or personal growth one goes through, I don't think that people can get rid of their old selves. That old piece of them will still be there. But I do think, and I do believe, strongly believe that people will be able to magnify their positive attributes and minimize their old self, right? So create, magnify the positive things about them. So I guess I looked at it from this perspective, and that was, it's cute when you're 5 and throwing a tantrum, but not when you're 25. That's immaturity at its finest. So I had a lot of growing up to do. Not saying that I throw tantrums at 25. Uh, I have people who can testify to that. But what I am saying is that we can't do the same things as we did as a child. You know, that's just plain immaturity. But like I mentioned before, on the flip side, I did experience what it was like to be emotionally intelligent, or more accurately, I did experience it through another lens, someone else being very emotionally intelligent in my life, and that was my older brother. And I'm not saying he didn't have to work hard or anything like that, but he did very, very well. And in fact, he's still doing very, very well for himself. And I think that all kind of came down to, yes, his willingness to work for it, but also his ability to work with people, his ability to communicate, articulate, negotiate, all the eights uh, with people, right? And he has done very, very well with genuinely befriending all kinds of people at school, at work, at gym, friends of friends, etc. He is that happy-go-lucky, very lovable type of person, very, very gentle-natured person. And it's funny because even though he has done all these amazing things and achieved all these different things, I remember especially when we were slightly younger, he was in the army and he was an officer. As an officer, you have to address him as sir. And it was really funny because even though he has achieved that, even though he has done that, my younger brother and I, like, we know him as this really easygoing, relaxed, happy-go-lucky, go with the flow type of person. Take it as it comes. It's all good. So we could never ever see him as that. We could never ever see him as someone to be addressed as sir. And I'm sure you have people like that in your lives who are very easygoing, happy-go-lucky, just very relaxed, but at the same time they have achieved a lot in their life. And sometimes you just can't take them seriously because of that. All right, so I guess it has been really interesting to live with someone like that, versus myself, who, like I mentioned, was totally not, very, very inept at that. And truthfully, I am still going on that journey of learning how to communicate and articulate myself better. So I guess I wanted to tell you that story to really just illustrate the importance of emotional intelligence, and what that can do over a lifetime, or 10, 15, 20 years. And I'm sure many of you, like I said, can relate to this. You've got a friend, a family member, a colleague, a sibling, someone that you see and you're just, wow, I wish I can be more like you. And you see them somehow magically manage to achieve all these different opportunities one after the other. It's just one thing, it just keeps coming, right? It's a non-stop thing. And yes, it does take hard work. I understand that part. The other part as well is it does take some level of emotional intelligence. I did hear a very successful entrepreneur. He's currently a multi millionaire. He hasn't worked in, I believe, the better part of 20, 30 years. He retired in his mid 20s, I believe. And he mentioned, you want to be determined. Yes, you want to be very persistent with your goals and things like that. But at the same time, you don't want to be so determined that you scare people away, right? That you scare the very people you are trying to attract into your life, right? Because you are so determined, that you do that, right? So you want to be emotionally intelligent enough to attract people so that they can help you in whatever shape or form. All right, so listen out for the next episode where I break down what emotional intelligence is, what it consists of, and what kind of questions we can really ask ourselves to grow our emotional intelligence. So that's it from me. Thank you guys.